Hoyt Carbon RX4. That's right, in this video I will be reviewing the Hoyt Carbon RX4. My name is Sean McVeigh with Sean's Outdoor Adventures, and in this video, as I said, I'm going to shoot the Hoyt Carbon RX4. I'm going to give you some specifics, some data, but what I want to start with is mentioning I just shot the Hoyt Axis and the Hoyt Carbon RX4. Both of them, the cam timing is just a hair off. The shop where I'm at is very busy right now, so I don't want to interrupt them to try to tweak that in. When your cam timing is just a hair off, sometimes a twist in the cable, one full twist or even one half twist in like a cable is too much. So you got to maybe do a half twist in each yoke of the yoke system here. You got to kind of play around with it. So it takes a little bit to get it absolutely perfect. I mention that because there is some tuning involved sometimes with bows, even when you buy them right off the shelf. So make sure you have that stuff double checked when you are purchasing your model. Also, the peak weight came in at just a touch under 70, so it was 69 point something. But what I want to do is test it out. I want to shoot it through the chronograph here. I want to test the back wall. I like to do test the back wall, how solid is the back wall and how easily it comes off of the back wall. Those are my two tests there. So let's take a look. So there's a little bit of it's not super solid, one because it's a cable stop, but also with that cam timing being just slightly off, it gives you a little bit of movement. I'm sure it would be even more solid if they were perfectly on. Coming off the back wall, it comes off fairly easily. Let's take a few shots through the chronograph and see what we have. So all in all, it's fairly smooth draw cycle, very consistent as far as speed producing. This is the first bow I shot this year that gave me the exact same speed rating on all three shots. So you have that consistency there. That's good to see. It's a little bit louder than some of the bows I shot, so my decibel meter readings, we'll go over that in more detail back at the shop, but they were coming in over 80. Some of the bows I shot were under, in the 70s. So, but it's still, even though it's a little bit louder than some of the other brands I've shot, it doesn't have a tremendous amount of jump. So it's not like jumping out of your hands like the Hoyts used to do. They've made a lot of improvements in that regard. So I think that the Hoyt bows have been improving over the last 5 years. And this year we're seeing a good product. And if I'm going to compare Hoyt to where they were four years ago even, I'd say this bow is superior to where they were at, and hopefully they'll continue to I'm sure they'll be continuing to push themselves to produce the best bow that they can. Let's go back to the home office and go over some of the data that I acquired while I was here today. All right, back at the home office, and I'm going to look over the data I have for my bow review for the Hoyt Carbon RX4 Alpha. And one thing I'm incorporating this year is the manufacturer's website, so you can kind of see the data as it's presented on there, and also sharing with you what I came up with in my review. So let's look over here at the screen. Here's some of the data I collected. The brace height measured 3.5 inches for me, 29 5/8 inches for the axle to axle. The draw length came in just a hair under 30, so 29 and a little over 3/4. And the draw weight was hitting 69, so we were a little bit shy of, right here we hit 69 on the button, so we were 1 pound shy. We would have got a little bit more speed if we had that extra pound. And I shot 3 shots with a 350 grain weight arrow, and each shot was 330 feet per second. And I got to interject here, out of all the bows I tested this particular day, this bow is the only bow that had the same exact speed out of all 3 shots. So you see consistency there. Other bows I shot, there was a variance of a foot per second here or there. So I'm noting that. So you see 330 feet per second for all 3 shots. And for our decibel meter, our average decibel meter reading was 81.5 decibels. And for the back wall firmness and the ease of letdown, I have about medium for both. And both of the Hoyt bows, this one and the Axios that I tested, were just, the cam timing was just a little bit out, like maybe close to 1/8 of an inch or even a little under. And the bow shop was busy. I didn't want to bother them. Sometimes just a half of a turn or to a cable, it puts it on perfect. Like 1/2 of a turn to a cable can fix that. But sometimes also a half a turn is too much, and so you actually have to then start playing around with the yoke, and putting in a half of a twist to each side of the yoke, and try to see if that corrects it. And I just didn't want to bother them, so the back wall ratings would have been a little different if they were hitting dead on the cable stops, and but when it's slightly off, it gives a softer feel and it comes off a little bit easier. So here's my draw force curve from measuring that. And let's go over and look at, the last video I did was on the Axios Alpha, and I kind of was on the overview page of their website, and I think I might have even clicked on the technology page, but I didn't click on the specifications page. So for this video, I want to kind of just focus on the specs page, because it shows the RX4 as well as the Axios next to each other, and they really do give very similar specs, with the exception of the weight of the overall bow. Obviously, the carbon is going to be lighter as a result of the carbon over the aluminum. So we see 342 feet per second, 29.5 inch draw, 6 1/8 inch brace height, 3.9 pounds, that ZTR cam, and then here is your draw lengths ranges. So depending on which cam you get, you can go 25 to 28 or 28 to 30. And down here is your draw weight ranges. So it's a 10-pound range depending on which limb you get. And I am glad that they're doing a 65-pound max limb, because I personally like to shoot around 65. So I like it when I can get a bow that's rated there. But for your heavy shooters, your heavy hitters, they do have a limb that goes all the way up to 80 pounds. All right, so as you know, I'm doing a bow giveaway. I'm giving away a flagship bow in the month of August, probably around August 15th. And so around the beginning of August, maybe August 1st or so, I will put up a registration on my website to register for the bow. And what I'll do is I'll call somebody on that list live and say, hey, what was the scripture verse from a particular video? If I ask you what is the scripture verse from this video, it's going to be John, the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verses 19 through 28. So John 1, 19 through 28. What you'll want to do, I'm just keeping a note in my phone of the verse, the title of the video, and then a little synopsis of what that reading was about. So that's how I'm doing it, little note in the phone, and I encourage you to do the same. And then when I call you live, you'll be able to, just if I say, hey, what was the verse from this particular video, you'll be able to tell me. And I'll put all my videos in a playlist. And hopefully the winner is a hunter, because the reason for giving the bow away in August is I want to follow the winner through the hunting season, if it's a hunter, and see how that individual's making out with their brand new bow. So I'm Sean McVeigh with Sean's Outdoor Adventures. I appreciate you following this video. Until next time, take care and God bless.